Hi and welcome. This is Precious from Precious Jewels, and in today's video we are going to be making a stretch bracelet, beaded stretch bracelet. And so what I have in front of me here are the tools and the material you will need to make a beaded stretch bracelet. So let's get started. We have stretch cords. You're going to need your stretch cords, and I use Stretch Magic because I love it, and also comes in 3 sizes. I don't have to go searching for size of wire to use. It comes in a 0.5 millimeter, which is very small. It's a very thin cord. I use this with 4 millimeter beads and 6 millimeter beads. Those beads are not heavy, and this cord is just thin and strong enough to handle those beads. The 0.7 millimeter I use on my 6 millimeters and some 8 millimeter beads as well. This is I don't know if you can see it, but this is thick enough to handle those beads. Those 6 millimeter beads are not that heavy, and 8 millimeter beads are not that heavy, so I use the 0.7 millimeter for those. I'll put that to the side. 1 millimeter, I use it for my 10 millimeter beads, 12 millimeter, and 14 millimeter beads. As you can see, it's a lot thicker. Those beads are a little heavier, so we need a little heavier cord to handle those beads. So in today's video, we're going to be using the 1 millimeter cord. Bead stoppers. So these are your bead stoppers. They're just 2 different styles or designs of bead stoppers, and it is exactly what it says, bead stoppers. It stops the beads from falling through when you stringing your beads on your cord, and you'll see how it's used. But basically you just kind of clamp it, like hold it like this between your index finger and your thumb, and squeeze on it, and it opens up the little wire. I call it accordion, and you put your cord in there, and it stays. And this is the same thing, it's just a different design. So you hold it the same way and just hold on to it and put your cord in there. But in today's video, we're going to be using just this one. So I'm going to put that to the side. You're going to need a tip measure to measure your wrist, to make sure you have the correct size and you know how to size your bracelet. Now, when you're measuring your wrist, you want to make sure you add 1/4 of an inch or 1/2 an inch to that size, because you do not want your bracelet snug. You want it comfortable, and you also want it to pass the widest part of your hand, which is this part right here. You want the bracelet to go over this part of your hand with ease and comfortable, and it'll still be the correct size of bracelet you need. So you're gonna need a tip measure. I've measured my wrist. My wrist is a 7, 6.5, 7, but it's very tight, it's very snug. So I added an extra 1/2 an inch for it to be able to go over the widest part of my hand and still fit me comfortably. So in today's video, we are going to be making a size 7.5 inch bracelet. You're gonna need some kind of an adhesive. I use GS Hypo Cement, because when you finish stringing your beads and you tie your knot, you are going to need something to keep the knot from opening and to keep your bracelet from breaking. I use GS Hypo Cement, and this is the box. This is what it looks like, and this is what's in the box. So we're going to be using this because it's already open. This box is going to go to the side. You are going to need some cutters or some scissors, or snips, however you want to call it. The cutter has a safety cover, and it cuts your wire or your cord, whatever you're using, it cuts it. So that's what that is. Your scissors, these are from Cutter B, and I love these scissors because it has another safety feature on it, the cover, and it locks in place. So you pull the cover off, and the scissors is very comfortable on your hand, and it has a precision tip that when I'm cutting my wire so close to the bead, I don't have to keep shaving. This just goes right in there and snips it. And when you finish with your scissors, you put your cover back on. See this little metal screw thing that's holding the scissors? It locks into place in this hole here. So you just put it on, and you will hear a click, and it's locked. So this is a good safety feature if you have children. Both of these are good safety features if you have small children and you do not want them to get into your scissors or your cutters. These are good safety measures for that. I'll put that to the side here. And of course, you're going to need some beads. So we have some 10mm beads here that we're going to be using today to make our bracelet. I'm going to move this to the side temporarily. And also keep a wipe handy, because when you use the glue, it gets on your fingers. The wipe wipes it off easy. Or if you have hand sanitizer, it works as well. And you can always use soap and water. I use this. I keep wipes and hand sanitizer near me because when I'm making bracelets, I make a lot of bracelets at a time, and I don't want to keep getting up and going to wash my hands. So I keep the sanitizer or wipe near me. And the reason why I'm moving everything off of the mat, because I want to show you the mat. This is a bead mat. This is what you put your beads on when you're beading, and it keeps the beads in place. Because if you just put the beads on the table, they roll all over the place. So you want to keep your beads on the mat. The mat comes in a square like this, and it also comes in a rectangular one like this in a different color. And you can find these at your local craft stores. And I'm going to link it down below. So those are your bead mats. Next is your bracelet bead design board. This board is perfect. I love this board because it has 5 different sizes, and you can design your beads or your bracelet right in these wells. You can put your spacer beads or your bling bling in there and design it. And also it sizes your beads, your bracelet. When you're done, you can just put your bracelet in there to make sure you have a true 7.5 inch bracelet. It comes in 6, 6.5, 7 inch, 7.5 inch, and 7 3/4 inch. The 6, 6.5, and 7 inch, I use those for children's bracelets, and the 7.5 and the 7 3/4, I use them for adult bracelets. Now it also has measurements in centimeters and measurements in inches. This is 11 inches here. It has 5.5 inches on the right side and 5.5 inches on the left side. That totals 11 inches. And I use this board to measure my cord as well. And we are going to be using this board today. So those are the tools and materials you need for making your stretch bracelet. So let's get started making this bracelet. First thing, you take that bead design board, you get your beads, and you are going to put your beads in the 7.5 inch. Sorry for the noise, but the board makes a lot of noise when you put the beads on there. So you are going to put these beads in the well of the 7.5 inch bracelet sizing guide, design guide. And right now it's telling me that I have enough beads in here to make my 7.5 inch bracelet. See how the beads fit in here? But I always keep an extra one, take an extra one and keep it. Because when you tie your beads, when you make that knot, it shrinks the beads. It brings the beads, not shrinks it, I'm sorry, but it brings the beads closer and tighter together. So your bracelet is, at that point, is not really a true 7.5 inch bracelet. So this one bead is going to make it that 7.5 inch bracelet. And I will show you. So the extra beads, I'm just going to put it to the side because we really don't need it right now. Now you can string your beads from right here, from the bead board, the bead design board. But I like to just dump my beads on my bead mat. And you'll see. Okay, so we're going to put the bracelet design board over here because we're going to come back to it. So these are the beads that I need to make my bracelet. I'm going to grab my stretch cord and my bead stopper. And I'm just going to put the rest of my things here. I'm going to undo my scissors because I will use the scissors instead of the cutter. So I'll move the cutter to the side. So this is my scissors. This is what I'm going to be using. I got my bead board and I got my bead mat. I got everything I need to make the bracelet right now. My stretch cord. You're going to need the stretch cord. So the stretch cord, what I do, I take one end and kind of wrap it around my finger and hold on tight to it. And the other end, the spool, I just unwind enough get a good grip of this end because you're going to stretch. You're going to stretch this cord about 8 to 10 times. And the reason why you're stretching is because you're breaking the cord in. Remember when you buy shoes? I know I still do. When I buy shoes, I wear it around the house to break my shoes in before I wear it out to church, or a pair of tennis shoes before I go running. So I break my shoes in. I'm not sure if you guys do, but this is what we're doing. We're breaking this cord in. And the reason why is if the cord is tight and you put your bracelet on, you risk breaking your bracelet because you're stretching the cord on your hand. So I stretch. I stretch until I'm sure that, 8 to 10 times, but I'm overdoing it right now. So we have stretched our cord. We are going to bring our bead design board back, and we're going to measure 11 inches at first. I use a lot of cord. I use more cord. I'd rather have more cord than less cord. So I use a lot of cord. So this is 11 inches. But what I will also do is to give myself an extra 2 inches to give me 13 inches. So I have 13 inches of cord here that I'm going to cut. And we are done with the stretch magic, with the 1 millimeter stretch magic. I'm going to lock it in place. It doesn't want to lock. And I'm going to set it to the side. So we have our cord. We're going to take our bead stopper. We're going to open it up. And we are going to put this right in there and close it back up. So now we're ready to string. And stringing is the term that's used when you're putting the beads on the cord. So we're ready to string our beads. So we strung one. And so when I get enough on there, I will show you how the bead stopper works. It's exactly like it says, it's a bead stopper, so it stops the beads. So I am going to put maybe a couple more so you can see. Okay, so I have some beads on here. So this is how the bead stopper works. It stops the beads from coming straight on through. If I didn't have this on there, your beads would come straight on. Let me take it off so you can see what I'm talking about. So if I didn't have this on there and you were stringing and you didn't know, your beads would just keep coming off, off the cord. So the bead stopper does the job. I'm going to string these back on. I just wanted to show you how it works. So your bead stopper, again, we're going to put it back in there. I'm going to tighten it. So this is how it works. Okay. So we're going to continue stringing our beads on this cord. And don't forget, please comment down below and let me know what you think of this video. And also let me know what you want to see me do on this channel, what kind of DIY or bracelet or jewelry you want to see me make on here. And I can do a tutorial on that. So please, if you're new here, welcome to my channel. If you are a return visitor or guest, a friend of mine, and you have watched my snippets, thank you so much, and thanks for being back here. And don't forget, y'all, please like, comment, share, subscribe, and come back. So we are done stringing. I removed my bead stopper. It was on there like that. So we're done stringing. So you want to hold your 2 ends together. Remove your bead stopper. And hold it tight. And just stretch again. Just make sure your beads are all loose and everything looks good. So there's that 1 extra bead. We're not going to put it on there now, because I want to show you. So we're going to tie it once. And we're going to tie it another time because we're going to measure it. So we're not like really tying it tight right now. Okay, so this is it. We're going to get our bead design board back, and we are going to put this in the 7.5, and you see what I'm talking about. So now we've pulled it. You see this side here, this side here, that it's not, the bead is not sitting in the well. It's sitting perfectly on this side, but this side here is not sitting in the well, and that's because we pulled it together, so it's not a true 7.5. And that's where that one bead comes into play. So we're gonna undo it. To undo it, you're just gonna wiggle your cord, and it loosens that knot. And we are gonna put this one on there, and we're gonna tie it now. So we're gonna tie 1. We're gonna make that knot 2, and we're gonna pull. I am gonna remove this. Well, no, I'm not gonna remove it now. So we're gonna pull that. That's 1. We're gonna tie another knot, just a single knot, on top of that one, and we are going to place it in the 7.5 inch well, and I'll show you. See how it fits? So that one bead made a difference. So we're going to remove our bead board because we have our 7.5 inch, and I'm going to put another knot on there, just one more. Just one more. So we get our GS Hypo Cement. I'm going to close up my scissors and put it to the side. So we got our GS Hypo Cement. So what you want to do, you want to put your hand on the knot, your thumb on the knot, pull the bead to the left and the right of that knot, and let go of your thumb. But before you do, this just kind of pulls up like that, the GS Hypo. So you got your knot exposed, slightly exposed, and when you open the GS Hypo, it starts to come out. It just starts to spew out. Not a whole lot, but it just starts to come out drop by drop. So you don't need to do a lot of squeezing. So you want to just put it on that knot. And we're just going to set. And I'm not even doing any squeezing. It's just coming out by itself. Sometimes you have to do squeeze, but sometimes you don't. But this just comes out. So when you're done, you just close it back up. And this is your wipes. You're going to wipe the tip of this. And this is sharp, so be careful. And you're going to, it's a small hole. There you go. And you seal it back up. And you wipe your fingers. Make sure there's, or you can wash it. Make sure there's no glue on there. You're going to wipe off all the glue, and I think I wiped off the glue on mine, and you're going to put this to the side. So this is our bracelet we just made. This is our bracelet. I do not cut my ends off until it's dry, but I will shave my ends down just a little bit, but not all the way. I'll cut it down to like here. And I'll give it a few hours to dry. I always allow my bracelet, my cement to set to dry before I do the final cutting, because I want it to set. I want it to really be that cement that it says it is, and it is. It sets it. So this is it. What I've done, I've made one and put the cement on, and it's dry. So I'm going to show you how I cut it. So this is the one we just made, this one. And I cut it using my cutter bee because the tip, it's just so small. I love it. So we are going to take this cutter bee scissors, and we're going to cut very close to the knot. Try not to cut your skin. I'm trying not to cut myself. There you go. So I cut it. I still got a little piece there. There you go. I'm going to cut that. And I think on this side, I got a little piece on there. There you go. And I cut it. And sometimes you will see little flakes from the glue. When the glue dries, it leaves a little flakes sometimes. And you can just kind of wipe it off. You can use the wipe to wipe it off, or you can use your fingers to just kind of peel it off, which is what I'm doing now. I'm using my fingers to peel it off. and the bracelet is complete. So that's how that's how I make bracelets. And I'm hoping that I hope this has inspired someone to go and make their own stretch bracelet. This I'm gonna let dry for at least a couple of hours until I don't see any gooey stuff on there, and that means it's dry. I sometimes just let it stay 24 hours before I even cut it, especially if I'm making a lot of bracelets. If I'm producing a lot of bracelets, I would just make bracelets and just let them sit overnight, and then the next day I cut them. I glue it and let it sit overnight to dry, and then the next day I'll just cut it. I'm just removing some flakes. Okay, so this is our finished product. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share this video, and put some comments down there as to what you want me to do on, what type of tutorials, what you want to see me do, what you want to learn, and I will do my best to come up with some ideas for jewelry making. So thank you so much. I appreciate you watching, and see you on the next video.